today's Crosstalks, we have amazing agency owner, Mina Litvinova today. And Mina will tell us more about how she started her journey in augmented reality and how she decided to make AR agency. Hello, Mina.
Hi, thank you for having me. So my name is Mina. My background is in marketing. I actually started working in advertising, I think around 2005. My first advertising job was with OMD. And then in 2009, I moved from Moscow to Dubai. And I've been based in Dubai since 2009. I started working in Leo Burnett in 2009. Then I moved over to the client side and I worked on marketing teams of Mercedes-Benz and Mars. And then I took a little creative break to write a full feature film. I was a screenwriter for some time. Yeah, and then in 2019, I founded ARmore. Honestly, I never decided to start an agency. I just started experimenting with filters at the time. I was always just experimenting with different kinds of storytelling in advertising, then in screenwriting. Then when filters came around, I just got curious and I started experimenting with filters. And then I started getting, paid projects. And then I figured out that, it looks like
It has
the
potential.
market. Yeah, you know what? I saw that there is potential because as a marketeer, I just simply see the numbers of how the industry is predicted to grow. But, we are now talking in 2022. And I'm only feeling that at least in our region, the market is only starting to happen right now. So in 2019, when I was just experimenting with filters for myself, although the numbers were telling me that the industry is going to happen, it wasn't happening at the time. So I just started getting my same story, right? I think we all have the same story, people who started early.
Yeah, but like...
You create effects yourself as well?
I started like that because I'm a marketing manager myself. So I decided to experiment with my marketing team. And at the time I couldn't find experts. So I decided to do it myself. So it was a hassle. Can you remember like your first successful project with ARmore? What was the project? What was the objective?
My first successful project was actually the local influencer, because at the time we launched, his name is Mohammed. He just last week was announced on Meta's Creators of Tomorrow program because of that collaboration. So it's weird that we're talking at this time. So now, once again, in 2022, it's proving to be a very successful project over time. Because in 2019, we launched Mohammed's filters. And arguably, he was the first influencer in the Middle East to launch effects. So when we launched his effects, they literally went viral all over the world. And we've had celebrities, we've had the creative director of Christian Dior used this effect. So we've seen it catch like fire. The effect was called Summer Love Bite, and it was like a summer glow, very, very, it was a beautiful, sexy effect that really caught on fire. And then we've done some projects. So first of all, it was arguably one of the first effects launched in our region. Spark AR for Instagram at the time was still in beta. So we did it through our beta access. And interestingly enough, again, back to our point, now in 2022, what is it? Years later, Mohammed got recognized for that activity done 3 years ago as someone who pioneered augmented reality in the region, and he basically became one of the Meta ambassadors in the region. So that's a very successful project, and this was literally one of our first commercial collaborations.
Can you tell me what type of brands are you collaborating with? What kind of brands are mostly interested in augmented reality in your region?
Actually right now, we work a lot with TikTok. So we have a ton of projects with TikTok, and TikTok effects and they're being used on TikTok is quite different than they're being used on Instagram. Because on TikTok, branded effects is often a part of a hashtag challenge. So they're used more like a prop to participate in an activity collectively online. I would say a lot of FMCG brands use branded effects on TikTok for sure, because FMCG has obviously the widest reach. So we work with FMCG brands a lot for TikTok, and we work with our local clients. For example, we've done a very interesting project for a mall, one of the malls. We have a mall here. It's called Ibn Battuta Mall, and the way it's structured is that it has 6 different areas. And each area is dedicated to a different country. So there's an area dedicated to India, an area dedicated to Egypt, China, and we've done effects for these different courts to be used like digital decorations. So they are world effects. You can place them in that environment and enhance it through AR. So we also work quite a lot with these local clients. We have a lot of mall culture in Dubai. So I would say they often, we do these projects also quite often.
So it might be really hard at one point to work with so many brands. They have like their own ideas, maybe. Like, how is working process with them? Do you have any kind of pain points and what you should change if you could?
Honestly, we do a lot of consulting before we even get to production. Because quite often, most of the time, if it's a new client, if it's a new brand, if it's a new agency, they normally don't have an augmented reality creative technologist on their team. So before we can even do the work, we have to do a lot of consulting to explain how the technology works. What is the difference between placing an effect on Instagram, on Snapchat, or on TikTok, or in web AR? What are the different features and possibilities on different platforms? How is effects used on TikTok versus Instagram? So again, it's not just making an effect, it's also an effect has to have a reason. You don't just drop an effect for no reason. So there is a lot of consulting and strategic work that happens on our side before we even get to making an effect. So, and I honestly don't know what to change about it because there is not that many experts in the market who can provide this type of knowledge. And I think maybe with time, the marketing teams, agencies will have a better understanding on their side how to integrate AR into the marketing mix, but it's not the case at the moment. So we have to do a lot of that
educational part. So how much time is needed for that education? Like for those brands who have no idea how to implement AR into the marketing mix?
A lot of time. I even taught a course on augmented reality in a university here. We do talks. We do open talks We do TikToks, open talks, anything, and different formats, to try and explain AR in any way possible. So on TikTok, we do very simple sketches where like even your grandmother would understand what we're trying to say. Sometimes we do live events where we invite guest speakers from Snapchat, from TikTok, we collaborate with them but then we invite obviously a more sophisticated audience. We invite brands, we go through case studies. We really take the time to host these educational sessions. And yet still, most of the briefs still require that strategic consulting part. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that's how we're dealing with our clients as well here in CrossCreators. Like our main strategy is education first, and then ideation and creation of the filters or what they are or application. So what is the best part of being an augmented reality expert nowadays?
I think for me personally, the best part is that you're not limited with anything at all in terms of your imagination and, bringing this imagination to life. That's one. And number two is collaboration, because an effect is something, it's very interesting to see how your effect starts living its own life and what people do with it once it's live, because you created something and you had something in mind, but then people end up using it in their own ways, and you look at their videos and you think, I would never think of doing it like that. So it's very interesting to see what people do with what you've put out there in the world. So it's like a constantly rewarding process to create and then to see how it takes a life of its own.
Can you tell what was the longest time whenever you were implemented AR filter or effect, and the shortest one? Like how much time is needed?
Well, the longest project took a few months actually. The longest project I would say so far was that project with the mall that I already told you about, because they came to us with a completely different idea that was not even executable, which also happens quite often.
As always,
we get
right.
briefs from clients or agencies of something that they dreamed up, and then it turns out that, it's completely not executable. And then we have to completely recreate the idea. So in that project is just even coming to a final idea took a good couple of months, 2 or 3 months. And then the implementation took another, I would say, 2 or 3 months, because we had to do different characters for different areas. We had to completely kind of design them, model them, rig them, texture them, animate them. There was a lot of work. It was a very big project that took a long time.
And what was the shortest?
The shortest was literally a couple of days. We do that sometimes. A lot of the times we get a request last minute because a brand would remember that, and by the way, we could also do a filter, but our launch is tomorrow. So we get those requests as well. So, yeah.
So what would you advise to those brands who want to start augmented reality journey and haven't done it yet? So what they have to prepare before they decide what channel to choose, what type of experience, where to get all this information?
Well, to brands, I would say, first of all, you need to understand that AR is not going anywhere, and that the earlier you kind of start understanding and learning AR, the better. Because I used to be on the brand side myself. I know how busy brands, brand managers, brand teams get with what they're doing today and their marketing plan today and implementation of it today. And any new channel that comes to their table is actually not welcome, in the sense they go like, oh my God, now I have to figure this out. I'm very comfortable doing what I'm doing. I already know this already works. So in the beginning, there's a lot of pushback and skepticism and basically denial and, trying to ignore. And then eventually you still have to do it, except you're super late to the party. And then why would you do this to yourself? So the first thing is, at this point, AR is definitely not going anywhere. It's been around for a good over 10 years, but now technology is actually, becoming mass. So first, admit that AR is here to stay and start figuring it out. Slowly.
You have to learn.
Yes, slowly test the waters with effects and filters is the easiest thing you can do. And then understand how to integrate AR into your regular marketing activities. Not last minute, like, okay, we're launching a campaign and let's drop a filter in there, but the launch is tomorrow. But be more strategic about it. Like, start planning AR activities for every marketing campaign that you're rolling out. Just add it as part of your marketing toolkit and, work with AR in mind at this point in time.
People still don't understand, like, what specific benefits does AR get? Like, they don't want to lose their budget for like paid advertising, for example, and they don't know how much money they will need to implement AR into their strategy. So to give them the idea, what are the benefits and how much it will cost them?
Well, there's lots of benefits. Honestly, there have been tons and tons of research already on how AR drives conversion, on how basically AR, even neuroscience, that tells you that your brain doesn't understand the difference between reality and augmented reality. And just the mere fact alone that you've tried a watch or an object in AR, in your brain already feels that you own it, so it drives conversion. So there's the convenience for the customers. At this point, a lot of the customers, they are literally expecting to have this AR try-on, for example. And when they don't find it, they get frustrated. I am one of these customers, but obviously I'm in the industry. So when I don't see an option to try sunglasses when I'm shopping for sunglasses, I genuinely get frustrated. I go like, but why? It's 2022. I should be able to try them on. So you know what I mean? And when it comes to the costs, again, I do have an understanding of marketing budgets that the brands have. And at least social AR for sure is a negligible fraction of the marketing budgets that everybody has. So everyone can afford it. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's absolutely affordable. And there is absolutely no reason to hold on from AR, except for not understanding it, really. That's the only barrier that I see.
Mina, can you tell us, like, what is your perception of future for augmented reality, how it can work for marketing in the future?
Honestly, I think that in the next 5 years, I believe that we're going to be living in an augmented reality and not in a metaverse. Before we get to the metaverse, we have this whole augmented reality period that's ahead of us, because possibly we will be spending a lot of time in these virtual worlds at some point, but we will not stop being humans. And we will not stop having to go about our lives and running errands. And what I always say is that at one point, there will be no more of this staring into the screen while talking to the other person or doing something that you're doing. And we will always be known as this generation who spent their time staring at the screen. So the future is a future where we will no longer be staring at the screen. That's very exciting to me. We will be looking up at the world again, except we will be seeing digital layers overlaid.
Better world.
So that's going to happen first before the metaverse ever happens. That's what I believe. That's my opinion.
And also, metaverse doesn't exist without AR or VR.
Yeah, of course. But there's this whole narrative about us completely diving into this fully digital metaverse. And I'm arguing the fact that while that is all great, we are still humans who have to go about our daily lives. And the beauty of AR is that it simplifies your interface with the world. It makes the world more comfortable for you to live in. Yeah. And so we will finally soon come to a point where we will no longer be staring at the screens and bumping into things, and we will just be able to go about our day and have a much more convenient experience. Just
I'm also in that team. I'm also in that team who knows that augmented reality or other technologies are only because to make our lives better. So we have to make our reality better and augment it. Mina, thank you so much for this interesting talk. I hope that we will meet someday in reality.
Sure. Thank you for having me.